Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, my brother, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Supposed to get up into the 60s in Wisconsin.
Man,
Man, that's
okay.
Mm.
Okay, what month we in? March now? We hit March.
March, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And it may snow tomorrow. Let me stop.
Right. Hey, what friends say sometimes it snows in April.
April, right.
Always trying to get those references in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification, folks. We love your comments. We love your engagement and sending the show around. We feel like, and this is such a important topic today because we feel like we are one of the few shows out here that talk about the NBA as a whole. We are Bucks fans. You can see the hat here, but we do not spend every show talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. We talk about the NBA. And there was some controversy, Ken, this past week with Charles Barkley. And of course, this is inside the NBA, right?
Right.
And this is in response to Kendrick Perkins, I believe, saying that the Lakers has saved the NBA. And so, Ken, let's take a quick listen. It's about 2 minutes and some, folks, so stay with us.
Okay.
But then we're just going to have a few thoughts about what's being said. Let's take a listen.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one are you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins. Oh, he said the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, man.
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't, the Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP and they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we're going to become fools next year. We'll be working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months. Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You went at the whole network.
They talk about the same stuff.
Industry. Whole industry.
They talk about the same stuff every single day.
I would have to, but you know, there's
is there some credit? Is there some credit to be handed out here?
Yes. But don't say basketball's only watching now. First of all, between that and this lame-ass LeBron-Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said it for years. The only people talk about LeBron and Michael is people on television who got no talent to talk about anything else. I've been saying that for years. I ain't hanging on to the 90s. I've always said LeBron's great, Michael's great. But y'all talk about it all the time and then got LeBron out there posing, talking about he all mad about being the face of the league. But it makes me mad. The Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers are the two best stories in the NBA this year. Congratulations to the Lakers and the Warriors. They've had 2 good weeks. The Cavs and OKC have had 6 great months.
So, Ken, what are your thoughts on what Charles? He had a mouthful to say.
Yeah, you know how Chuck is, Mike. You know, he just gonna put it out there, like it, love it, hate it. That's just how he is. But just to respond, or not really respond, just talk about what Chuck had to say, is that he's absolutely correct. Mike, I just get tired of, on either Saturdays or Sundays or ESPN, TNT, you're going to be watching the Lakers. You're going to be watching Boston or Golden State. I think next Saturday's game is New York at Golden State, or vice versa, Golden State at New York, whatever. That doesn't make a difference. Same teams. Cleveland has had an outstanding season so far.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Number one in the Eastern
about
Conference.
Number one in everything.
Donovan Mitchell's. Say that again, Mike.
I said they like number one in everything almost.
Right, exactly. They're playing well. Oklahoma City, they're playing well. Looks like Shea is going to be the MVP. So I just think that these big markets get the brunt of the news, and these small market teams, they get tossed by the wayside. I think that if the Lakers would be in the same position that Cleveland is in right now, you'll be hearing that 24/7 all night long on every show. And that's the thing that just bothers me. There's teams out here. I'll give you another team. Houston is playing well. I know they had a stretch where they were, they had lost some games, but they're playing well. Detroit.
Yep.
Have you seen Detroit on TNT or ESPN?
Nope.
That'd be a no. And the thing about it is that, I just think the NBA needs to, let's just say, promote these up and coming teams. Detroit they probably will not win the championship, but they're coming up from where they were last year to where they're at now. Man, come on, Mike. And the thing about it, a guy like Cade Cunningham, rising star. That's who they should be promoting. Now I'll go back to this. They talk about the ratings. The thing about it is that if you got players who are just rising up and you don't, showcase them, shame on you. And I just think that, going to New York, Boston, LA, Golden State, you keep doing that. What about your other fans? That's in, like I said, Houston, Detroit, Denver. When Denver won the championship, I don't think they get I'll say the publicity that maybe a Golden State would get. They just did. That's just me saying that. What's your thoughts on it?
Look, right. The three best players in the league never get covered. Jokic, SGA, and Giannis. Okay. We can even say when Embiid was healthy and he was MVP, they don't get covered, man. I don't know. Part of me first of all, I say, is it the fact that these guys just don't watch games, right? They just don't. They're only watching the games that they think that are popular and what's on TV and so forth, mainstream. Or are they restricted? Are they told when they come to work, this is what you're going to talk about? Man, I didn't watch First Take. I just fast forward through it just to see if they were going to talk about anything other than the Lakers, the Warriors. But their daily diet is Lakers, Warriors, Cowboys. They talking about the Cowboys, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's like it's NCAA on the women's side about the March Madness, man. You got like you said, we have young, exciting players in this league, man. Exciting players that nobody knows. They said to Anthony Edwards, they criticized him because I guess he said he didn't want to be the face of the league. He can't be the face of the league. How can you be the face of it? That's like Ken saying you the face of the company, but nobody ever sees you. How can you be the face of the organization that nobody ever sees you? And it's terrible, Ken. And this is, in my opinion, yes, you can say the 3-pointer has made fans not as interested in the game because it lacks the creativity of the days of old. I would say that's a percentage of it, but a big percentage of it is you just don't see the NBA. You don't. You see certain teams, and if you don't have league pass, if you're not paying, okay, let's get this. Like, every fan doesn't have the money to dish out for league pass, right? So if you don't have league pass, you can't.
Right.
If you're not in that city, like if I didn't have league pass, I'd never see the Bucks. Never can. When would I see the Bucks if I was not paying? So I'm paying basically to see my team. I might as well be at courtside because I'm paying to see these teams. And I just think it's such a sad occasion. Ken, think about it like this. We have multiple ways to showcase NBA teams. And what do? You go to NBA Today, Malika Andrews and the crew. You're going to have the Lakers on there. You're going to have Golden State on there. And for Kendrick Perkins to say that the Lakers saved the NBA, I don't know Kendrick Perkins, Ken, but it sounds, but he is emblematic of the problem. And the problem is that these guys live in silos, man. If he there are people out here that can't stand LA, will never watch LA, are not a LeBron apologist and love his game. There are countless people that will refuse to watch because they do not like that particular team. Now, whether that's good or bad, but if that's all you putting out there, if that's all you talking about, how are you going to generate interest? And we can go back even when the GOAT was playing. If the GOAT was playing in this era, you're going to have teams that won't even watch Chicago. But if that's all the daily diet that you give your fans, they're like me and you. We don't watch, dog. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't watch it anymore. Ken, I don't listen. I don't even on Sirius Radio, Ken, I don't listen to none of these guys because they talk about the same teams hour after hour.
Over and over. Well, Mike, you remember we talked about how in today's, let's just say, sphere, most people they have favorite players. They don't have favorite teams. I would say, let's just say 15, 20, 25 years ago, everybody had a team. No matter, whatever city they lived in, they had a team. They followed their team. Now, people don't follow teams. They follow players. If a player gets traded from, let's just say, from New York to let's just say Philly, that's going to be that's who they're going to watch.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about it, Mike, is that I'll say the average fan, they want to see their team win. Let's just say, I'll go back to what you just said in Chicago. They want to see their team win and, get into the playoffs and things like that. But, if you can't watch them locally, on local TV, you ain't going to see them on TNT. You ain't going to see them on ESPN. You ain't going to see them on ABC. So, you got to give these fans a more variety of the NBA and not just restricted to, I'm going to say, maybe 6 to 8 teams.
Ken,
wait, let me give.
Mm-hmm.
So Milwaukee was supposed to play Dallas. I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday. They got, I'll call it flex. They got booted for for another game. I can't think of the teams. You may know it. But their game got pushed back from 7:30 to 8:30. And I was just like, okay, if Milwaukee is getting done like this, in which they're a competitor as far as making the playoffs and things like that, you get, like you said, top 3 player in Giannis. So if they're getting, let's just say, flex, what's going to happen to these other teams?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it was that was crazy. And why? Because Kyrie Irving got hurt and they said, who cares about Dallas? And really, who cares about Milwaukee? Because Kyrie
Right.
Irving's not playing. Are you I mean, like, these are the decisions, man, that these networks are making, maybe in concert with the league. But I just think it's completely disrespectful. What do you say to your fans when your fans are looking forward to watching these games on mainstream TV, and we turn around and find out, oh man, oh wow, they're not even playing. Oh, I gotta have league pass now. Who got league pass, man? How can I come by and watch the game? You know what I'm saying? It's completely
Right.
disrespectful because it tells you that they do not care about fans. What they care about is ratings, which we know what that equal is, the bottom line money. They don't care about it. And
Right. Oh
so
yeah.
as
TV revenue.
fans, and I think as fans, I know they got that big media rights contract, but let me tell you something, man. One thing about business, the death of business is not understanding long range planning. And I'm here to tell you, you're losing fans because you're not talking about their team. You're not talking about the NBA. The NBA is far more than just two teams, man, or three teams. Or they may talk about Cleveland when LA plays Cleveland. Or they'll talk
Yeah.
about, maybe they probably won't even talk about Detroit when LA plays Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, they have no interest, Ken, in highlighting and bringing up the next generation of basketball players, which in the end, in my opinion, Ken, is going to damage the brand. Because listen, LeBron did not save the NBA. The Lakers did not save the NBA.
Nah.
And Ken, while we gonna shift topics, but we're gonna stay. And folks, the only reason why I'm gonna say the only reason why I'm really willing to talk about LA, because they're everywhere, is because of some of the recent events that have transpired. Others have spoken about them, but Ken, I just want to turn our attention to, we do know. Well, hold on, let me back up here for a minute. Let's just briefly say Kendrick Perkins' response to Charles Barkley. So basically, in a nutshell, he said basically, have that same energy when I see you in person, because I'm gonna thump you
Right.
up. Basically, and Charles, we know, is in his 60s. It's like, and he didn't even respond. I mean, Monica McNutt said also when she responded that, this is what people want. This is what, so it was weird because her response was like she was caught. Stephen A looked like he was a deer in a head. He said, he's not talking about me. He's talking about you. He said that network, people on that network, stop it, Stephen A. You and Shannon are the most guilty of anyone when it comes to this sort of thing, man. So you're a poster child for not talking about. You may bring somebody up briefly, but every day y'all gonna have the same menu, which guess what, folks? You gotta have a variety. And again, what I was gonna say
Yeah, you
earlier,
do.
that's diversity, right? That's that dangerous word, right? That's diversity, man, and equity and inclusion. MBA, why don't you practice some DEI in your broadcasting and bring us more diversity, equity, and inclusion? That's what we're calling for. We want to hear about all these other ones. But Ken, what's your response to Kendrick Perkins threatening bodily harm to Charles Barkley?
Mike, to be real honest, Mike, I just when I heard that, I was just like, come on, Perk, you know how this game is played. You know Charles, how he gonna say whatever. And the thing about it, um, Charles don't care. He like, okay, yeah, all right. He didn't even have a response. It's just I thought it was a little bit. I use the word immature on
Mm-hmm.
Perk's part. it's it next year y'all gonna be working together and side by side, so get used to it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Charles makes a lot more money, and I think Charles is probably more important
Oh
to
yeah.
that network coming in. So you might want to be careful what you say because you might find yourself on the outs, Brother Perkins. I would hate to see that happen. But let me just say this: why not address what he said? I mean, why not? Why not address what he said? Now I understand nobody likes to be called a fool. But
Oh
that's what you said.
right.
That's how Charles operate, man. I mean, Charles is never going
Oh
to,
man,
in
come
my
on.
opinion, um really address anything in a way that I think spawns some sort of healthy conversation. Don't call you fool and this and that. That's just how he rolls, man. So I wouldn't take it personal, man. Again,
Oh,
I mean, I don't think he know you, Perk.
right.
So don't even worry about it. I would have liked to have seen him respond to what Charles said. Because Ken, I agree. As in our conversation, he is 100% correct. I'm not gonna say the fool thing because come on, man.
Right. That
It's Charles'
Charles a
vocabulary is
bull in
so
the China
limited.
shop.
Yeah, his vocab is so limited that he's just got to go to insults, man. You could give your point without being insulting. But again, it is what it is. But no, 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 no. Come on, Perk. You don't want to be knuckling up Charles, man. We don't want to see y'all two brothers, man. Y'all shouldn't even, what I'm saying? That
Senior
conversation.
citizen.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, bro. But I wanted to segue because again, this is dealing with these dudes. Remember, we talk about the NBA on and off the court, so we off the court now. But Ken, uh, the King Charles charged up Stephen A. Got in his face. Basically, I take it from what people have been reporting is because of Stephen A.'s comments with Bronny, and I'm sure there's some other things that have bugged the King back, in the days, and he just kind of carried with him. But the apex of that, he moved up on him. And so, what was your thoughts on on that exchange and even the impetus for it, man?
Mike, so I'm wearing black today. So when I saw Stephen A. do his intro on First Take, he was all serious. I thought maybe somebody had passed away, or somebody had a serious injury, or found out they had a disease or something. Mike, I was just like, what's wrong with him? Then I started listening. Me and LeBron, we had a little um, situation going on. I'm like, what is going on? So then, after all that, he said what happened. I'm like, my thing with Stephen A, and I'm gonna take like 30 seconds, is
Mm-hmm.
that he'll tell you, yeah, he first gonna fill you up like 6-time all NBA, 2-time world, something like that, like he introducing you. And then he gonna, tell you why he don't, disagree with you or uh, don't like you or whatever the case may be. But anyway, I mean, I thought LeBron was wrong to confront him like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something, let's just say in that situation, you disagree with him, take that off court or take that, in the privacy or something like that. But for him to, I'll say, go after him that way, it was wrong. And the thing about it, LeBron did it to himself. He put his son in the NBA. He put his son in the NBA. The Lakers wouldn't have drafted Bronny if LeBron wasn't on the team. Let's be real, Mike. He said that the Bronny was better than let's just say half the people um, that's in that was drafted, or something to that effect. And I'm like, Bronny should still be at USC working on his game. And Mike, the thing about it is that um, the players who are in the G League, they looking
Mm-hmm.
like he in the NBA and I'm playing in the G League. What's wrong with that picture?
He's not. He's
So,
not.
I mean, for what Stephen A. does, yeah, he had to comment on it. I mean, that's what he gets. That's what he gets paid to do. But I think LeBron just, he took it. Let's just say to the left, and I just think that when you put that much pressure on your son, you doing a disservice to him. And now you want to get mad? Nah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a hard
That's my
sell.
thoughts, Mike.
Mm-hmm. It's a hard sell, Ken. And you know what Stephen A. does? Stephen A. And this is a technique, man. I don't know, man. I learned. When you go through leadership training, they'll teach you that you can always put a negative between two positive. And Ken, what you were just saying is true. He's going to flower you. He gonna flower you with positives, and he gonna hit you with that negative, and then he gonna flower you again, right? Because they say you can digest that better. But man, listen, I'm gonna say this, man, and I do not want to be disrespectful, but I'm gonna say this. I don't know why anybody takes Stephen A. and others like that seriously. Ken, Stephen A. is an entertainer. He is a he's a character, because I truly believe, man, like if you got him away from the camera, man, he'd probably be a down brother. You know what I mean? Like he's a character, man. He gets up there, he plays this role. He can't talk like that in regular life, raising his voice every time he turn around. And so this guy plays this character, and he's entertaining, and people like that entertainment from him, because really he doesn't give analysis of the game. He will argue that he gives some analysis. He'll throw out some data, this, that, and the other thing, but there's no real analysis taking place at that table. And so I think you have to look at him for what he is. He's an entertainer, man. You can't take him seriously, man. He says one thing, all those cats, man, you can go back on clips where they've said this and that, and all of a sudden it's the opposite fact. He coming out saying that LeBron's the GOAT. Now I'm just like, man, y'all listen, it is it's a sad affair, man. I think it while I don't necessarily agree with anything, I don't think Stephen A. Smith has said, other than his take on Jason Whitlock. I would agree with that. His take on Jason, I would agree with that. But
We're
not gonna go there. But I would say he has a right from his position to be critical and to talk about the game of basketball and players in the league. You're 100% correct. Bronny wouldn't be there if it wasn't for his father. And we've already talked about how we understand this, that, and the other thing. But, bruh, he is a grown man. He is a professional basketball player. Now, he not in AAU. He's not in elementary school. He's a grown man playing in the most prestigious basketball league on the planet. This is the best of the best.
Oh, yeah.
This is the cream of the crop. This is, man, this is every dude in the NBA, man. Come on. You don't get better than this. At when you talk about basketball, this is the golden streets of basketball. And if you come up to this level, you have to be ready for criticism. You have to be ready to digest it. And listen, as a father, you can't run and save your son. Man, what kind of whack stuff is that, Ken? You got to let your son let him stand up. If he got something to say, let him say.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, what I will say, his play would change everything. Oh, if he came in and he was doing what he's got to do, yeah, he going to get the criticism, but he not going to get the kind he getting right now. He going to get criticism because he busting that you know what. So, but one thing I'm going to say on the side note, though.
Right.
I'm going to say on the side note, though. Bronny, he's been playing much better in the G League. I'm on Ken. I'm gonna give him. He's had some good games, but I'm also gonna say he ain't the best player on his team in the G League either, Ken. So man, listen, LeBron, bad look. A further to me check mark that you just can't be in the GOAT conversation. GOAT don't walk around and have an ego. Don't have no ego like that, man, where you can't. No, man, to go keep it moving and understand that this is the arena that we are in. This is what happens. Not everybody's going to agree with you or like you. People are going to say stuff about you. But one thing I'll give Stephen A. credit for. I've heard Stephen A. say multiple times how great a dad he is, how great of a family man he is, how great of a citizen he is. So I've heard Stephen A. Give you those props. But if you can take those, you ain't charging him up about those, are you? Oh no, it's the negative one. So no, I have a problem with that. It was in poor taste. It's a blemish on you as a player and on your legacy, that you take it so personal that you go up and go off on a commentator at doing game time, that you can't be man enough to pick the phone up, call the man and have a conversation with him. That was weak. And I don't even think you got that in you. You ain't swinging on nobody anyway, King. I know you 6'9", but he's scared Stephen A. though. He's scared Stephen A. What'd you say?
Hey, Mike.
How quiet he was talking.
Right. Oh man. Remember this? Remember they were in the bubble and the Bucks players said they were not going to play because of the situation with Black Lives Matter and the situation that was going on in just different cities.
Yes.
As far as value and things like that. So he got himself involved in that, and he was mad because nobody told him. But he didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, you can't have all the control, LeBron. So now you want to, let's just say, control what comes out of the mouth of let's just say a sports commentator or sports analysis. I just think it is a bad look because you gonna push back on the criticism of your son, in which this is just my opinion, he shouldn't even be in the NBA. The only reason he is in the NBA is because you told management, draft my son. Probably said, draft my son or I'm leaving. So
yeah.
It's a sad day when you have to force the team that you're getting paid by to draft your son. And I'm going to say who's not qualified to be in the NBA as far as his talent is concerned.
Yeah, and Ken, I think a lot of people would agree with your analysis of that. I just think it's wrong to intimidate writers, man, commentators, man. I mean, like, for instance, I mean, you can go and you can even say you disagree with what he says, this, then the other thing. That's fine, man. But when you start intimidating, because right now I can guarantee you, Stephen A. probably ain't gonna say too much about Bronny no more, though. Nah, man. When he saw that 6'9" King looking down at him, kid, when he saw that 6'9" King looking down at him, thinking about what if LeBron swing on me. He was shook. You could tell he was shook, man, because he did. See, but that's the hubris, though, right? That's the hubris when you think that ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. Now we can't. That was a street move, really. That was a gangster move that LeBron did, ran up on him, this, that, and the other thing. In the professional world, you don't conduct yourself like that, man. And really, I think LeBron should somebody should talk to him about that, man. The league should say, hey, you can't run up on somebody like that, man. You can't. And see, that's what you say, LeBron. I really do feel, and for good reason, he does have this access that others don't have to power. He's been around for the longest. He's a leader in this. He's a leader in that. But listen, my mom always told me, don't believe what people say about you, good or bad. Know yourself for yourself. And I think, Ken, when you start believing all these things about all this, and that go to your head, and all of a sudden now you say, I'm putting my son in the league. I'm getting this person. I'm getting that person. I'm running this organization. And so I think it's a bad look, man. And until the NBA, Ken, listen to me, and this is going to make some people unhappy, but the NBA needs to turn the page on LeBron James, Steph Curry. It's time to turn the page because those guys only have a few years left, man. And you got so many younger players coming up, younger teams that are exciting. And this, you would think Ja is still suspended. I mean, when we hear about Ja Morant? And when is he playing? Yes,
We
he's
haven't
playing,
heard.
and he's balling. You know what I mean? But you don't hear about that. Zion's back. Zion's playing. You don't hear about anything like that. You talked about Cade Cunningham, man. We talk about these young players, the Shannon Sharps and all these other. I mean, you know what I'm talking about for the rookie, the Sharp rookie, man. When you have all these guys out here that are coming up, man, you don't even hear. Like, okay, let's do this, Ken. So since Victor went out, have we heard anything about San Antonio? They still in the league. They still in the league. Man, come on, man.
I hope so.
I'm like, come on, man. We have to do a better job at that. Ken, in closing here, just in closing, I wanted to get your thoughts on what is happening in Phoenix with Mike Budenholzer. Ken, do you think he's going to be fired after this year? You saw the exchange between him and Kevin. Kevin said it wasn't no big deal, this, that, and the other thing. So I ain't gonna throw no gasoline on that. However, man, it's been a disaster over there. What do you think is going to happen in Phoenix?
Mike, one of them has to go. Either Bud or Kevin. Next year, one of them is not going to be there. And if you ask me today, Kevin won't be there. He doesn't want to be there. I know let's just say, voided the trade that was going to send him back to Golden State. But trust me on this one, is that he will be in a different uniform next year. The Beal, Booker, Durant trio just didn't work. You couldn't keep all three of them on the court at the same time. You can call it load management, injuries, or whatever the case may be, but it just didn't happen. And I think that you'll see Durant somewhere else. I mean, Mike, Durant is probably, in my mind, has to be. I'm gonna be conservative. He's a top 20 all-time player. And he may be higher than that, but just off the top of my head, top 20. I think he will go to a contender. So let's look at this scenario, Mike. Let's just say that Durant goes to OKC. That would be huge. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself. This is probably, going to happen next year, but something like that. Oh man, that'd be let's just say a game changer. So
yeah,
I don't.
Well,
what about your thoughts?
Well, I agree with everything you said, Ken. I don't think I can add anything else. I guess the only thing I would add is that sometimes it's about the players and not the coaches. And so when people cried when Bud left about how great a coach he was and this, then the other thing, and when he got to the Suns and they were predicted to win the title when everything was announced, people are prisoners of the moment. And it just goes to show you that it takes good coaches and good players that are on the same page.
Oh yeah.
To even have a chance at a championship. I'll be shocked if he didn't get fired, to be honest with you. But I agree with you. I don't think Kev's gonna be there, but that might save him, Ken. That might save him and give him another year, because then you can blame it all on Kevin, right? You can say, well, it really wasn't the coach, right? But I think Bradley Beal is is really the challenging thing for them over there. But Ken, give us your last word, man, as we move into the last half of the season. Give us the last word.
So, Mike, I'll say this as far as, coming, let's just say we got about a month and a half left of the season. I think if Boston, I got a concern about them. They seem to turn it on, turn it off. They were up 25-3, and Cleveland came back on them and won that game. And I'm looking, I'm like, you up 25-3 in the first quarter.
Skin.
Huh? Oh, right. But my thing is this: 25-3, Mike. Man, that final should have been, let's just say, 120-99 Boston. There's no way in the world you should have let that team get back in that game. And I just think that's troubling for that team, for Boston, to let, and I see that they do this a lot. They'll be up 15. You turn around, they down by 1, or they up by 2. So are they really interested, or are they just coasting?
Yeah, we will see, but I agree with you. I think you're always in the game with Boston, no matter who you are, because if Boston stop hitting threes, they let you back in the game. They're not going to dominate you on 3 levels. And so it will be interesting to see whether or not they can sustain that for a 7-game series. And I tend to think they're going to run into problems 2 or 3 of those games out of a 7-game series. They're just not going to be shooting the ball the way they do. And if they have a hot series, they probably going to have a cold series. So I'm like you, Ken. I just think it's too dependent upon luck. Some skill, but a lot of that's got to do with luck, because when you taking tough 3-point shots, everybody can't say that skill put that ball in that rim. Some of that stuff is just, it banks in, you know what I'm saying? It banks high, it comes down. Luck plays a role in that. So we will have to see, folks. But great show, Ken, and hopefully there'll be less drama this week as we move toward the playoffs. But folks, as always, the world of sports unites us. Let us take this unity in our everyday life. This is why they play the game.